There are so many myths and lies about owning a small camper, and most of these come from people that have never camped in a small camper or have never owned a small camper. And some of these come from watching other YouTube videos. Well, I've owned my small camper for 6 years, and I'm going to set the record straight. We're going to dive into the 9 biggest lies and the surprising truths about owning a small camper. And trust me, some of these might change the way that you think about camping small. So you're thinking, small camper, small price tag, right? Well, not exactly. It's easy to think that a small camper means that you're automatically going to pay less than a larger one. And sure, small campers are going to cost less than those mansions on wheels, but that doesn't mean they're cheap. Here's the truth. Depending on the RV manufacturer, you're not going to pay less just because it has a smaller footprint. You're paying for a smart design, quality materials, reliable appliances, and often some extra features that make the small space feel bigger and more comfortable. Now, I'm usually the smallest camper at a campground, but I know for a fact that I paid more for my camper than some of the larger RVs around me. And you're going to see why I think my camper was worth every penny as I debunk other myths and lies coming up. And be sure to let me know if you agree or you disagree with the things I'm going to tell you coming up. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest lies out there about small campers, and that is that they don't have enough space or room for a comfortable night's sleep. When you hear small camper, you're probably picturing yourself squeezing into a cramped, uncomfortable bed. But the truth is, many small campers have full queen-size beds, just like the bigger guys. For example, my little guy Max has a full queen-size bed plus a dinette that converts into another sleeping area, so it comfortably sleeps 3 people. Now sure, in a small camper, your bedroom might be more of a bedroom space with no door to shut. But let's be real, a rod and a curtain can fix that. Now we need to talk about RV mattresses. The one that came with my camper was a decent one, but there was a problem. So I'm going to admit that this is where the big guys have an advantage over smaller campers because they oftentimes have better mattress support systems. But it's not all doom and gloom because here's the game changer. I installed the FROLI Sleep System, which lifted my mattress off the wood to prevent mold from ruining my mattress and getting me sick when there was humidity or condensation inside my camper. The best part? The springs made a huge difference in comfort. Now I sleep better in my small camper than I have at some of those fancy-dancy hotel rooms. Now, when I realized that the FROLI Sleep System was such a get a better night's sleep game changer, I reached out to the company and they gave me a special 15% discount code that I can give to you. If you're interested in learning more about the FROLI Sleep System and getting your special discount code, go to randysadventures.com/get-my-FROLI. And I'll also leave all this information for you in the video description below. I know bedrooms and bathrooms are a small camper hot topic, so you're probably wondering, well, what about the bathroom situation? Well, don't worry because I'm going to be diving into bathrooms coming up, and you might be surprised about what's possible even in a small camper. Here's another lie I hear about all the time. Small campers are only good for short trips and weekend getaways. This one always makes me laugh because I know many folks, including myself, who have taken extended trips, weeks or even months at a time. And guess what? We didn't just survive, we thrived. The biggest limitation that I've experienced on my longer getaways is the size of my black tank. Now, of course, holding sizes are going to vary, but the black tank on my little guy Max is 9 gallons. Obviously, the larger the RV, typically the bigger the holding tank should be. And of course, this is going to extend your time between dump runs. But here's the deal. When our black tank does get full and we want to extend our stay or stay longer at the current location we're at, we just make a quick trip to the dump and come right back. This can be a little bit of a hassle, but it doesn't take long when you have a small camper. Honestly, both my hubby and me, we get kind of antsy if we stay at one location for more than 3 or 4 days. I think the ease of packing up and moving our small camper is one of the best parts of our adventures. How about you? Do you get the itch to move to a new location after a few days too? Or do you prefer longer stays? I'm really curious if it's just me who likes to switch things up as often as I do. Let me know. Now, here's a lie that you probably thought was true because honestly, I thought this was true before I owned my small camper. You're always going to want to upgrade to a bigger camper. Wait, what? I understand where the idea could come from. People assume that they're going to start out in a small camper and then they're going to want more space. So naturally, a bigger camper is the next step. Right? No. After 6 years of doing a lot of camping in my small camper, I've never considered trading it in for a larger one. Now, when I bought my very first camper, it was too small for me, and my hubby and me did trade it in for a little guy Max. Since then, we've never looked back. And I'm not alone. In fact, I've talked to many RV owners that have gone the other direction. Instead of going from small to big, they've actually downsized from big to small. And you know what they've told me? They're happier with less hassle and they love the flexibility. And I agree. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that there aren't times when having a little more space might be nice, like when the weather turns bad. And that's why I recently bought a clam tent. If you've considered buying a clam tent, I've got a clam tent review coming up, so stay tuned for that video because there are some things you should know before you buy one. Now, when my hubby retires, I hope that we get to go full time for at least a few years. Then I will need a bigger camper, right? But I'm gonna want the smallest, biggest RV possible. Let me know, are you team small camper like I am? This next lie caught me off guard, and that is small campers are claustrophobic. The truth is, a well-designed layout makes all the difference. It's amazing how much space can be created through clever layouts, bright colors, and well-placed windows. The 18x7 space in my camper feels surprisingly spacious because the windows that surround me. Okay, look at this view. Now imagine this window wasn't there. Imagine if it was a solid wall. Now that would make me feel claustrophobic. I have to tell you, the two things that I really appreciate about my camper is the quality of the build plus the windows. When I walk inside, I don't get that boxed in feeling at all. Instead, it feels cozy, functional, and most importantly, like a place I actually want to spend time in. Here's a lie I've heard plenty of times. You can't cook a proper meal in a small camper. Okay, I get it. You're probably imagining a teeny tiny kitchen or a camper that doesn't even have a kitchen at all. Take a look at the kitchen in my little guy Max. It is everything you would need to whip up a great meal. A 2-burner stove, a microwave, a sink, even the counter space is good. Even a decent-sized fridge that I've never filled up. But the thing that is missing here is an oven. Honestly, I'm not a good cook, so I don't spend much time in the kitchen. But don't get me started on how much better food tastes when it's cooked outside. And there's nothing like grilling up dinner with a view. Now let's talk real quickly about not having an oven. Recently, I made monkey bread in my camper. That was addictive. Yes, I made the most gooey, tasty monkey bread in my camper. And I don't have an oven. Stay tuned for an upcoming video where I show you how I did this. You don't want to miss this video. So no, you don't have to survive on sandwiches and canned food when you're camping in a small camper. Although it does need to be said, sandwiches are good too. Have you ever heard somebody say, you're roughing it when you're camping in a small camper? Let me set this record straight. Most small campers, including mine, have all of those same amenities that you'd find in those big rigs. I'm talking about things like an air conditioner and a furnace, a kitchen as we just discussed, a bathroom as you're going to see, a bedroom as you already saw, a dinette, a place to sit and eat. It's not roughing it. Actually, it's more like glamping. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I'm always camping in luxury. Sometimes I actually choose to rough it, and that's on purpose. With a small camper, I can get into those remote, off-the-beaten-path locations where the views are breathtaking and the adventure is unmatched. It's the kind of camping that makes you feel like you're really connecting to nature. Yes, sometimes I'm boondocking without hookups, and that's by choice, and I love it. The real beauty of a small camper is it gives you the flexibility to do both types of camping. Now, let's talk about the age-old saying, bigger is better. Now, I am talking about campers here. Keep that in mind. When it comes to RVs, there's a big there's a big misconception that the bigger the RV, the better the experience. But I can confidently say that's not True, sure, a larger RV is going to give you more space to move around, but that extra room and space could come with its own set of headaches. Bigger isn't always better when it means bigger challenges. First off, towing a big rig isn't for the faint of heart. Or what about backing up? I can't imagine backing up one of those big rigs. You're probably going to need a half-ton or a three-quarter-ton truck to pull it. You'll spend more on gas. You'll have to be way more selective of where you go and where you can fit in. Now, as a small camper owner, I don't have to worry about those things. Yes, you can make big memories in big RVs, but I believe that it's easier to make big memories in small campers. Okay, on to bathrooms, because one of the biggest lies I hear is that small campers don't have decent bathrooms or showers. But the truth is, many small campers have bathrooms, and some of them have surprisingly good showers. My little guy Max, for example, has a wet bath, covering all the basics. Sure, space is tight, but everything you need is there. A toilet and a shower in one compact package. It's functional, it's practical, and it keeps you from roughing it when you're out in the wild. And trust me, it's really nice to have your own toilet when duty calls in the middle of the night. If you're curious about what other small campers come with bathrooms, click on my video playlist right here to see some of the best other small campers that have bathrooms for yourself. You're going to be surprised about all the options.